morning students, good morning. We have already completed the two chapters. First one is a motion and second one is a force and laws of a motion. So in the first lesson motion you have studied about the speed, velocity, acceleration and the equations of a motion, right? So in the second chapter you have studied about the force. What are the forces in our day-to-day life we are going to apply on an object, and the three equations of Newton's laws of a motion. Equations of motion you studied in the motion lesson, but in the force and laws of motion you have studied about the three important laws of a motion. Okay, so and the conservation of a momentum also you have studied. And students, please remember you have to solve the exercise part questions yourself only. Don't ask me to send the PDF of the exercise part. I will give the notes of lesson only. You have to solve the exercise part. Okay. So the next lesson I am going to start today. So what is that? That is nothing but the gravitation lesson. So have you ever heard about the gravity or the gravitation? Assume that I will tell you one story. One young man sitting under a tree, and he was thinking about something about the nature. What is happening? What is going on? All that he was thinking, and it is going on his mind. Okay. Whatever the fruit he sitting on the tree, the fruit will falls in front of him. So he thinking that what is this fruit, what happens? Okay, so if you are in that place, what you will do? You will take that fruit and you will eat it yourself, right? But he is the young man. He thinking that why did that fruit falls on the earth surface only? That's also the tree is on the earth surface, but also it can go upside. But it has falls on the earth surface. Then earth should have some force. What is that force? What happening? It can only falls on the earth surface, means it should possess a certain force. What is that? He has to thinking about that. And in the last class I have told about this story. Who is the man sitting under the tree? He is nothing but the Sir Isaac Newton. So he is the main person who gave the concept of a gravitation, right? So I will ask you the question. When you throw up the chalk piece, what happens? It will also fall on the earth surface only. When you leave this chalk piece, it will also fall on the earth surface. So what is happening in all these objects, right? So in those objects, or we can say that whatever the things on the earth surface, they can stay on the earth surface because of the force of attraction, which is attracted by the earth, right? So we can say that the earth possesses some force that is called it as a force of attraction. That is nothing but the gravitational force. So the earth possesses a force of attraction towards its center. Okay, we can also say that it will pull any objects towards its center, that we call it as a gravity, or the force of that attraction is called as a gravitational force. What is gravitational force? The force with which the earth pulls every object towards itself, that is called as a earth gravitational force or gravity of the earth. So the force with which the earth pulls every object towards itself is called a gravity of the earth. So you can give the so many examples. I will give is a atmosphere. Okay, you can say that the atmosphere is present our surrounding. So the atmosphere which will surrounded around the earth is because of the gravitational force of the earth, and the rain falls on the earth surface, it is also because of a gravitational force, and the river flow and all the human beings, buildings which can firmly stand on the earth surface because of only the gravitational force. So the students, you can ask me the question, the only earth has a gravitational force? No, on the universe, means overall whatever the universe, what we call the galaxy, it on this galaxy only, all the celestial bodies, terrestrial bodies will have the gravitational force. They having their own particular gravitational force. Okay, all the 7, 8 planets which revolve around the sun, it is because of a gravitational force. Earth is revolving around its own orbit because it possesses a certain gravitational force which is held towards the sun, and they are revolving in their orbit because of their gravitational force only. So the next concept is every object on the universe possesses a force of attraction to any other object. At gravitational force of the earth, when we fall certain object on the earth's surface, it will falls on the surface because of a gravitational force of the earth. As I told, every planet is revolving around the sun because of a gravitational force. So we say that every object attracts every other object with a certain force that is called as a gravitational force of that object. So the definition of a gravitational force is the object which attracts every other object with a force. That force is called as a gravitational force. So the main thing on the gravitational force is it will attract every other object in the universe. So the main concept of that is attraction towards any other objects. The next concept is what is on the basis of this force of attraction only we have the one law called as a universal law of gravitation. So what is that universal law of gravitation? The next concept is the universal law of gravitation. This is given by the scientist name called Newton. Hence this law is also called as a Newton's law of gravitation. What it states that every object on the earth's surface or the universe attracts every other object with a force which is directly proportional to the product of the mass of the two objects and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So we can write that as consider two bodies. It is one body and this is another body. Okay, one body and the second body. These are having a certain masses, that is m1 and m2, and they are separated by a distance d. So this universal law of gravitation states that according to this law, the force of attraction between these two bodies, the force between these two bodies is directly proportional to product of their masses. This mass has a m1 and this has a mass m2. So the product means m1 into m2, and it is inversely proportional to square of the distance. This is the distance, and it is that gravitational force is inversely proportional to square of the distance, that is F inversely proportional to d square. So according to this law we can write F is directly proportional to m1 m2 divided by d square. So this is directly proportional to is a constant, means this force and m1 m2 are directly proportional. When the force or when the mass is increases, the force is also increases. But when the distance between these two objects decreases, the force will increases. Right? So this is the universal law of gravitation. So why it is called as a universal law? You can ask me. Okay, what is universal? Universal means this law is applicable to any two objects on the universe. So it does not have not restricted to any particular object, but it apply to any objects on the universe. That we call it as a universal law of gravitation, which states that, please remember, which states that the force of attraction between any two bodies on the earth's surface or on the universe is directly proportional to product of masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. That is F is proportional to m1 m2 and that F is inversely proportional to d square. So the students, this is a proportionality sign. So to remove this sign, we are going to apply the constant. That is called as a gravitational constant. Here I am writing this. F is equal to G into m1 m2 divided by d square. and this G is a gravitational constant. Please baby remember, here it is a capital G. I am mentioning the capital G because it is a gravitational constant. In the next classes there will be another G called as a small g. This is nothing but the acceleration due to gravity. This is difference from this. Don't be confused. This G is a gravitational constant which is added to remove this proportionality sign. To remove this proportionality sign, we are added the gravitational constant. So what is this value? When we are putting the constants for this F as a force, when we are applying a 1 Newton of force to objects having a masses 1 kgs equally, and they are separated by the distance 1 meter, and we will get the gravitational constant G as 6.645 into 10 raised to minus 11. So this is the gravitational constant value. The SI unit of this gravitational constant is determining based on the what are the quantities are present in this gravitational force. Okay, here G is there. We are going to calculate with respect to a force and the masses and the distance. So the gravitational constant unit is Newton meter square per kg square. Okay. So this here the F, that is G into m1 m2 divided by d square. To want this G, we taken this d square here and cross multiplication, and this will comes down, that is G equals to F into d square divided by m1 m2, and the unit of force is a Newton, distance is a meter square, and the mass unit is a kg. So m1 m2 means kg square. So the SI unit of this gravitational constant is Newton meter square per kg square. It is the SI unit of this gravitational constant. In the next class we will going to study about the gravitational force between any two objects. Thank you.